Elliot Yeo's Groins have issued an apology to West Coast Eagles fans. It's understood that relations between Yeo and his groins have been strained for quite some time. Insiders say that tensions came to a head on Saturday after Yeo's groins complained that they were fed up over Harley Reid getting the week off before them. Despite assurances from Eagles coach Adam Simpson that they were next in line, Yeo's groin said, "You can find us in Qatar," and stormed out. Welcome back to AFL from LA. I'm your host, Cindye, and I'm standing outside of the Formosa Cafe, a watering hole to everyone from Elvis Presley to Frank Sinatra, and where movies like LA Confidential were shot. A few things I've learned this round. BT comes up with the best nicknames, Hawthorn come up with the best upsets, and the head is sacrosanct, except maybe in ruck contests. Let's get to it. Elliot Yeo's Groins have issued an apology to West Coast Eagles fans after they forced the star midfielder from the ground early in the Eagles game against the Bombers at Optus. It's understood that relations between Yeo and his groins have been strained for quite some time, with neither party speaking to one another for at least the last 8 weeks. Insiders say that tensions came to a head on Saturday after Yeo's groins complained that they were fed up over Harley Reid getting the week off before them. Despite assurances from Eagles coach Adam Simpson that they were next in line, Yeo's groin said, "You can find us in Qatar," and stormed out. Jamie Cripps, meanwhile, received praise from Essendon coach Brad Scott for his efforts to nullify Jake Waterman in the dying minutes and rob the Eagles of a chance to win the game. Cripps was seen leaving Optus Oval under police escort and unavailable for comments. The Eagles go to 2-6 for the season and face the Pies up next in Melbourne. They've shown awesome fight this season and are definitely the most improved team in the comp, but with likely injuries to Yeo, Waterman, and Noah Long, they'll probably be sitting at 2-7 this time next week. Ken Hinkley's quarter-time address, in which he reminded his team that they'd win if they kicked more points than the opposition, is being blamed as a source of confusion for his Port Adelaide players. The Power kicked 2-14 after quarter-time and 5-18 for the game, kicking at 22% accuracy to lose by 5 goals to the Crows in Showdown 55. When asked about Hinkley's address, one Port forward who wished to remain nameless said he was, quote, "tired of the mixed messaging," while another confessed to quite liking the nickname Point Adelaide. Matty Nix, meanwhile, denied that the retirement of Crows legend Rory Sloane had been timed to coincide with the showdown. In a touching sporting gesture, Port players attempted to high-five Sloane after the game, but all missed. It's believed that Hinkley is taking Monday off after Connor Rosie's mum said she'd like to have a word after Hinkley chose to play the injured Port captain, who further aggravated his hamstring. When Port officials were asked when Ken would be back at training, they declined to comment. The Crows go to 3-5, while Port go to 5-3. They've got the Cats up next in Catland, which if they lose, could see them tumble as many as 4 places. Here's hoping Point Adelaide can get their kicking boots back on fast. Ken Hinkley has expressed strong interest in Geelong forward Jeremy Cameron after the Star Cat missed 2 set shots in the dying minutes of their game against Melbourne. Hinkley said Cameron's wayward kicking would be a perfect fit at Point Adelaide, who have kicked at 32% accuracy the last 2 games, amassing 16-34. Cameron reportedly scoffed at the interest, saying the city of churches makes Geelong look like Las Vegas. Rory Lobb, however, is believed to be putting calls into Hinkley as we speak. Yep, in the battle between Vic Metro and Vic Country, Melbourne and Geelong, it took 3 quarters for a game of footy to break out, with Goodies D's finally hanging on to win by a thrilling 8 points. Fans marveled at the skills on display as 14 consecutive behinds were kicked across the first 3 quarters. Full credit to hair model Bailey Fritsch, though, who kicked goal of the year to seal the win and inflict the first loss of the year onto Geelong. Fun fact, Tom Hawkins hasn't kicked a single goal in over a month. Fun fact 2, it doesn't matter. The Cats are sitting equal top of the ladder, play Port up next at the Cattery, and have half a dozen home games still remaining after that. The D's play Carlton next at the G, then the mighty Eagles at Optus. Sure, they've got May and Lever, and yeah, Yeah, Gone, Oliver, and The Track are all elite. But if you ask me who's going deeper in September, it's Chris Scott's boys. And if you're enjoying the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and maybe even say good day in the comments. Collingwood superstar Nick Daicos was awarded Best on Ground, while his father Peter was awarded Best off ground. In a move that's sure to draw scrutiny from the match review officer, Daicos Sr. gave the fist to a stand full of Carlton supporters, telling them to go themselves after Nick kicked the winning goal with just a minute to play. The win was a bold statement by Collingwood, who had apparently been pissed off at Carlton for calling themselves the new Kings of Clutch. How dare they? Blues fans, meanwhile, were thankful for their third loss from their last 4 games, claiming they could now go back to calling for Vossi's head and declaring that the lid is back on. It was the Pies' third game in a row at the MCG, 2 of which were away games. When asked about his team's MCG-friendly fixture, Craig McRae is believed to have said, "Yeah, the AFL is a bunch of biased Victorian pricks." While Footy Classifies Eddie Maguire told Interstater to stop your bloody whinging. The Pies go to 4-3 for the season, while the Blues go to 5-3. They've got a tough draw the next 6 weeks, while the Pies, not so much. Fingers crossed, Daicos Sr. has nothing to answer for at the tribunal.